happening, people? What's going on? Happy Tuesday. Let me know how you lot are doing, guys. What's everyone been up to today? Is it warm where you are? Is it cold where you are? Is it rainy where you are? Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. As always, we've got so much to talk about in the world of Manchester United, because despite the fact that the Brian and Bumo deal has not been finalized yet, there is some more information popping up. There is some more information popping up surrounding other parts of Manchester United's transfer window. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Victor Gyokeres pushing for a move. We're going to talk about Victor Osimhen reportedly saying that Man United is his favoured destination. We're going to talk about Manchester United monitoring Wilfred Ndidi, a name that I didn't think United would be looking at. Low risk, low reward, maybe. We're going to talk about reportedly Manchester United rejected a move for Mohammed Kudus, who's being offered by West Ham to different clubs. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about obviously outgoings as well. So be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you're new here. You know, the tough thing about streaming every day during the transfer window, guys, is sometimes there's nothing to talk about, but we have to find something to talk about. Thanks for saving me with the live minute. Work is boring as hell right now. I don't know if I should tell you to focus on work or focus on the stream. I'm going to say focus on the stream. Big up to Faith. As well, today the transfer window closes at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. UK time. The transfer window is closing and it will reopen next week, Monday on the 16th. And that's just because of the Club World Cup. They opened it 10 days early, or for 10 days before the transfer window, because of the Club World Cup, just to allow teams that are playing in the competition to get some signings through the door. It seems like the only team that's really got some signings through is maybe Manchester City. Al Hilal are struggling. Al Hilal, I mean, I tweeted this earlier today, but Al Hilal are struggling with transfers. The only person they've really got through the door is Inzaghi, the manager. They've been rejected by Bruno Fernandes. They've been rejected by Victor Osimhen. They've been rejected by Theo Hernandez. They've now been potentially the deal with Angelino has fell through, and now they've opened up talks to sign N'Golo Kante on a loan move from Al Ittihad. So it's going to be a short-term loan deal, I think, covering just the competition, which is crazy to me. But also, guys, it's also worth noting that Al Hilal and Al Ittihad are both owned and invested in by the Saudi investment fund. So it's like a parent company renting out a piece of equipment to their sister company. They all fall under the same umbrella, but I think that says a lot. I think people are realizing now that Saudi maybe have to offer a bit more than the money when it comes to signing players. We got so much to talk about, guys, so make sure you guys hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. Let's start with not football related. It's not football related, but I'm going to speak about it because it's something that's close to me. And something very dear to me. So Pep Guardiola got a doctorate yesterday, honorary doctorate from the University of Manchester. If you're not from the UK, then an honorary doctorate is basically a university will award you with a honorary PhD for your work in whatever industry you work in. He got it for his contributions to football in the city of Manchester, but he used his speech to speak about a lot of injustice going on around the world. Sudan, Ukraine, and particularly he also spoke about Palestine, which is something that a lot of people shy away from, especially, in football. They say leave, football, and, football is made for football, and this kind of stuff is not for this kind of stuff, but it's about humanity. So if you're a human, then it impacts you. I don't like when people allude to the idea that this is politics. And Pep Guardiola, I respect it. You know what? Rivalry aside, bias aside, for everything he's done to me with Manchester City and Barcelona, put all of that aside, you are a good man, Pep Guardiola. You are a good man, and I respect you. But come season starts, I'm gonna hate you again. But just for now, I'm gonna like you. So shout out to Pep. But we got so much, guys. There's so much flying around today. And it seemed like Man United's name. One thing I realized in the transfer window is that if you want your player, like if you're an agent and you want your player to be spoken about, just get a journalist to link them to Manchester United, because maybe Arsenal as well, because people would just talk about it non-stop. Now, we already know Manchester United are looking or in the market potentially for a goalkeeper this summer. It's been also reported today that after Brian and Bumo, Manchester United's priorities will have to be outgoings before they can move for Victor Gyokeres. It's been reported as well that the Victor Gyokeres saga might pan out into July, which is normal because the transfer window is opening up again next week. So Manchester United are very heavily dependent after Brian and Bumo to get some outgoings, and I'm a bit concerned, not at the fact that United need to get outgoings. I'm more concerned at the fact that Manchester United, there's not really much in the mix right now about people leaving. Bar the people that Man United have let leave on a free agency, or in the situation of Johnny Evans, who retired, there's not really much happening. Jadon Sancho's a name that's popping up again for being linked to Dortmund, but Marcus Rashford has gone quiet. Rasmus Hojlund, it sounds like it's only Inter at the moment. Anthony, despite his loan spell, nobody else is really popping up there. Other names that United maybe want to get out, like potentially Casemiro, or if they're looking to move on, Toby Collier or something like that. Even Garnacho is quite quiet, but I'm hoping that is not going to be a hindrance to Manchester United, in particular in the next 2 or so weeks. I'm hoping that's not going to be a hindrance to them, and that it's just going to be, it's going to be a situation where the job just needs to get done. And somehow United are going to have to get some players out the door. Now, the positive for the players that have left on a free agency is Man United are saving about 2 million a month on wages. Imagine that. Just from Lindelof, Eriksen, Johnny Evans leaving. Tom Heaton is expected to get a new contract, but he's third keeper. What I realized, guys? My dream is to be a third keeper if I could have any job in the world, it would be to be a third keeper for a big football club, because you get paid 20, 30, 40k a week. You never have to work. You just come to training. You get to play with some of the best players, and you might be able to win some silverware in your career, like that guy at Manchester City who won a treble. He won a treble for being a third keeper, and that is my dream job. That is actually my dream job. But on the topic of Tom Heaton, he's expected to get a new contract as well. So Manchester United are going to save about 2.5 million, in wages just from the other people departing. But that's still not enough. Man United have to try and sell someone within, or actually, I think 2 people minimum before maybe they can move for Victor Gyokeres. Now, it's been reported that several Premier League clubs have been offered a chance to sign Marc-Andre ter Stegen from Barcelona, including Manchester United. Guys, no. Manchester United, I hope Man United do not get caught with the glitz and the glamour of the Barcelona emblem that he wears, because this guy is not a great goalkeeper. He's not a great goalkeeper. And there's a reason why Barcelona want to offload him. I personally don't think he's a good goalkeeper. With saying that, I did see that the Mike Maignan deal has fell through with Chelsea. I don't know if you guys, if anybody in the chat would be interested for United moving for Mike Maignan. I don't think he's okay. He's just not that great. But you know what's crazy? Is, who am I to complain? I have Onana in goal. It's like me complaining about strikers that we're linked to, but I have Rasmus Hojlund up front. Ter Stegen is definitely probably better than what United have, but in terms of longevity, and this is what I'm looking at, in terms of this summer transfer window and what Manchester United are trying to build, are we trying to build something for the now? Are we trying to build a temporary improvement? Or are we trying to build a crop of players that can play together for the next 4 to 5, 6 years, maybe? Because that's what I'm hoping that Man United are trying to do. I know it's wishful thinking. Maybe 6 years is a bit too much, but at least 4 to 5 years, I'm hoping that the core of the team will be playing together for at least 4 to 5 years. I don't want a situation like you bring in a player and within a year and a half you're ready to move him on again, because then Man United will be back in the market for another goalkeeper. And that's just my opinion. In terms of the goalkeepers that United have been linked to, it's only been ter Stegen, It's been Lucas Chevalier at Lille. Donnarumma is not a name that I'm buying because I just don't think he is leaving PSG. I think it's just paper talk. And then Emi Martinez. So that's the three kind of goalkeepers that United have been linked to. Someone said Ter Stegen for Rashford, little swap deal. I agree with Ridwan. I think Rashford's value is a lot higher than Ter Stegen. But if I was to say that out loud, you guys would accuse me of, being a Rashford fan. But I do think that Man United can get more than probably what they would pay for Ter Stegen. And also, guys, Barcelona are going to look to sell relentlessly because, financially they've improved, but they can always be better, right? So they're going to look to make some money off of the players that they're offloading. Araujo as well. Ansu Fati is linked to potentially joining Monaco. Ter Stegen. Also, by the way, they wanted Joan Garcia. So in order to sign Joan Garcia, they have to get Ter Stegen out. If we're going to do them a favor, hypothetically speaking, they should give us Yamal as well just to make up for it. They should give us Yamal. But let's start with some information from Ben Jacobs earlier this afternoon. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you've just come through, and hopefully YouTube does not crash on us. What the hell? Like yesterday, that was so weird. YouTube just crashing on us. Ben Jacobs has said that Manchester United rejected the chance to sign Mohammed Kudus after he was offered to the club by West Ham. Now, for me, I think Mohammed Kudus is a great player, but there's been no player that I've seen fall off in the space of 12 months in the Premier League, maybe than Mohammed Kudus. He joined, I remember he joined West Ham with this hype around him, and rightfully so. He was a great player. I loved him when he was at Ajax, despite the fact that he weren't playing regularly. I remember him at the World Cup for Ghana, and I was very impressed with what I saw. But the drop-off from his first season at West Ham and this season is ridiculous. And I also think I think West Ham have priced him out of a move, because if I'm not wrong, he's got a release clause of £84 million. If you've got £84 million to maybe go and spend on a frontline player, I think there's better players out there for value to get for Mohammed Kudus rather than Mohammed Kudus if you're spending that £84 million. And also I think that release clause ruined him. Once he signed that release clause, I think that was just a poor decision to make. Poor decision. I think if you said Kudus is available for 40 to 50 million, I would have been like, okay, based on his time in the Premier League, because let's be honest, he's had one decent season and one very underwhelming season. Very, very underwhelming season. So if you balance it out, that's not an £84 million player. That's not an £84 million player. I remember when Arsenal were linked to him in his first season. I remember Arsenal were linked to him quite a bit. Now it sounds like, I don't know, if United are being offered a player like Kudus, I feel like West Ham are just maybe going around. I feel like West Ham are just going around offering him out to people because they just need to sell someone. They maybe need to sell someone. I don't even know if there's anyone I would take from West Ham, but definitely not for that 84 million. Not heard much about Kudus this season. Faded a bit. Also would be pricey with that Premier League tax. Yeah, exactly. And with that release clause as well, ain't nobody paying that. Numbers wise, him and Hojlund had a similar season. And we say that Hojlund had a horrible season. So I think the same is applicable to him. A name that I honestly did not expect to pop up, guys. I am shocked. And not like shock horror, more like I never expected it. I never expected it. But Manchester United, Everton, and Al Ahly have all have Wilfred Ndidi on their radar. He's seen as a good value for money, and he has a £9 million relegation clause as a potential squad player. Nothing is advanced with any of the clubs as of yet. Now, this is it. This was like 5 seasons too late. It's 5 seasons too late. It is 5 seasons too late. I would have liked Leicester. I would have liked if we got him the first time they got relegated. If you just want someone that's not good on the ball but gives you legs in midfield for squad depth, okay, cool. But when you know United are dying for a starting midfielder, there is no way that Ndidi is the guy that you're looking at. No, there is no way. And he's not even that old, guys. That's the thing. He's only 28. He's only 28 years old, right? But I think in terms of what United want, or maybe what United need, it sounds like, and I have a feeling, United are going for players that are not necessarily great on the ball, but offer legs in midfield. They offer mobility in midfield. They can get around the pitch. And if that is what they're going for when it comes to midfielders, shock horror. Shock horror. I'll be so disappointed. I'll be very, very disappointed, because there is no way that you look around. And also, can I just say, being linked to Ndidi doesn't shock me, sorry, because Manchester United seem to be going down this Premier League type of signings, players that got Prem experience. I don't know if I'll be very intrigued if we sign a midfielder outside of the Premier League this summer. If we sign a midfielder and they're outside of the Premier League, I would be shocked, because I have a strong feeling that maybe for every one player that United sign from outside of the Prem, we might sign 2 or 3 players from within the Premier League. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be easy to make those moves, because, you know, Man United tax is real and Prem tax is real as well. I just hope that there's other options outside of Ndidi, personally. Why are we going for Baleba from Brighton? I like him. I really like Baleba. But if anybody in this world thinks that Brighton is going to sell him for probably anything less than 80 million, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But also, I will just say one thing on Baleba. Let me bring up a picture of him. This is a prime example, again, of just simply recruiting within the right way. Because Manchester United could go to the French league. I'm not joking, guys. This is why I always say I wish United would start signing midfielders from the French league, because midfielders who join from the French league adapt to the Premier League very comfortably. Because I think when it comes to physicality, I think the French league and the Prem are quite similar. And not just Baleba has come from the French league. Kamara has come from the French league. You know, Onana has come from the French league. There's quite a few players that have come from the French league to the Premier League and have comfortably adapted. And Man United end up being linked to them because they don't want to take the risk of signing a player from the French league and bringing them over and, you know, embedding them into the first team. They would rather a ready-made product. They'd rather a ready-made product, nip them from, you know, Brighton or whoever. But we all know the reality when it comes to Brighton. Brighton are not selling for cheap. They see their players as assets worth a certain valuation, and sometimes it's extortionate. I can't lie. I remember watching after they sold Caicedo to Chelsea. I remember watching who is it? The CEO, or like the director, the sporting director of Brighton on Sky Sports, and he was basically bragging about the Caicedo price tag, but he also was basically saying, "Don't worry, like we're gonna have multiple 100 million sales from this club." And at the time, he was propping up Evan Ferguson to be that next one. Sometimes you get humbled, and that's okay. But I would really like Baleba. I think he's an absolute engine in midfield. You know, I watched him in real life at Stamford Bridge back in like September, and I was amazed. At what the guy just wouldn't stop. He was up and down, and I remember watching him a couple of weeks before that against United, thinking, "What the hell? Who is this guy?" And last season, again, this is why you need teams like Brighton, who allow players to come in and embed themselves and get comfortable rather than having too much pressure on them. Because his first season at Brighton wasn't as, you know, amazing. It didn't stand out as much as his performances this season. But I would love him at United. But I think we have to be realistic about the kind of, like, if United somehow pull this off, kudos to them. Kudos to them. Because Brighton are not going to make it easy to sign, to sell him. They're not. They're not going to make it easy. So if United were to pull it off, I rate it. I respect it. But I just don't see it happening. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Anana needs to chat to his countrymen. That's the least he could do for the atrocities he's committed as our goalkeeper. Minna, the plan should be who Brighton want to sign, not who Brighton already have. That's basically my point. But also, I think we have to understand as well that what Brighton have to offer for players and United is quite different, because at United, the pressure's on you from day one, right? So say United sign a young player from the French league, a young midfielder from the French league, and then he joins Manchester United and he starts for Manchester United. All eyes are on you for 90 minutes every single game. There's not really, unfortunately, there's not much room for error when it comes to new signings. And that is why players flourish at teams like, Wolves or Fulham or Brighton, because there's room for them to maneuver in terms of learning and getting to grips with the Premier League. And there's also room for them to adapt to the new type of football they're playing. Whereas at Man United, and I'm guilty of it sometimes too, guys, I'll be honest, I'm guilty of it sometimes too. I expect players to hit the ground running straight away. And there's no room for patience. There is no room for patience. So yes, I agree. The plan should be who Brighton, etc., look to sign rather than who they have already signed. But I also get why teams sometimes buy from feeder clubs like Brighton, etc., because they do the development part for you, and you've got the ready-made player. You might pay a premium for that player, which is quite a lot of money, but you've skipped a lot of stages, and also the player has the opportunity to, mentally come to grips with the Prem rather than coming straight to the league and just imagine we brought a young Baleba, guys, instead of Brighton did. He would have been look at the smear campaigns that Kobbie Mainoo is getting right now. Anthony was ripped apart non-stop at his time at Man United. Rasmus Hojlund. That is the way I see it. I think that United are changing their recruitment strategy with the way that Sekou Kone, like they're recruiting within England when it comes to young players like Chido, young players like Aiden Heaven, but they're also recruiting within Europe and within Africa, within South America, which they're trying a bit of everything, which is good. It's good. It's getting them a lot younger maybe than what teams like Brighton, etc., would do. And then it's the opportunity to either develop them and then either sell them on and make a profit, or embed them into the first team, which is a lower risk because they're buying them at an academy level. Because a young player gets ripped for underperforming, we should sign mercenaries and have no long-term vision. Who said that, Uthman? Who said we should sign mercenaries? Uthman, you need to cheer up, man. It's the transfer window, man. Cheer up a little bit, man. Come on. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Wharton is too slow and weak to be priced that high. Give me Baleba next summer. Prioritize goalkeeper at 9, right 10 this summer, though. The Wharton talks have slowed down a little bit, which is interesting to me, because I remember back in, when was it, February, January, it was being reported that Southampton have a price tag of what, 100 million for him. 100 million, and suddenly we're not hearing much at the moment. It's quite quiet. But also, guys, I will say is that the transfer window's barely started. We expect, because the transfer window opened slightly earlier, we're expecting things to get done. I don't think he's worth 100 million. I don't even think he's worth Dibbling. No, I'm talking about Dibbling. You're talking about Wharton. We haven't even been linked to Wharton. We've been linked to Dibbling. Sorry, we've been linked to Dibbling. That's what I'm talking about. The 100 million price tag. But even Wharton has been priced at, like, I think it's like what, 70, 80 million. I just don't think United should be looking at Ndidi. That's it. Like, for me, all these midfielders that we're talking about, Wharton, Dibbling, Baleba, Amadou Onana, I just think United can look at there before they look to Wilfred Ndidi. Wilfred Ndidi, Yeah, us being linked to him so early in the transfer window shocks me, because this to me feels like a deadline day news report. Like that, Wilfred Ndidi, Manchester United in the same sentence to me sounds like a deadline day signing where Manchester United haven't signed any midfielder and they're just rushing to get something done. They're rushing to get something done. I know Dibbling is a 10, but it's been reported that United were looking at him as a wing back, quotation marks. That was the reports that we're seeing. Let's talk about outgoings. Because I saw a report the other day, guys, which actually kind of annoyed me a little bit. I can't lie. I don't know. Maybe I just have no room for patience right now with everyone, not just with anybody, but with anybody. I just have no patience right now. I saw a report that said yesterday afternoon, that Garnacho asked Manchester United in January not to accept Napoli's offer, despite the fact that Manchester United were ready to do so. It's then been reported today that Alejandro Garnacho is open to all offers, not just in the Premier League. Napoli's valuation of him was £42 million. Now Manchester United want a lot more and they're hoping for a bidding war. Guys, this could go so left. This could go so Manchester United maybe being greedy could go so left, because the reason why I'm saying that, because of the way that everything has played out in the public eye between Amorim and Garnacho, I think Man United need to be cautious with the transfer valuations that they maybe demand. They also, I think, the way that I see it is, if Garnacho truly rejected a move to Napoli in January and told Man United not to accept it, despite the fact that they were going to accept it for Napoli, I think that if Manchester United want to sell him to a specific club for a specific fee now, they should have a gentleman's agreement. I mean, I don't know if they have a gentleman's agreement. It sounds like the relationship between Man United and Garnacho is completely broken. But with saying all of that, Chelsea, Arsenal, let me bring up a picture of him in an Arsenal shirt. I can't believe Chelsea and Arsenal are legit names that he's linked to. Let's see. I saw a picture of him. Yo, this is so weird. It's so weird seeing him in an Arsenal shirt. I want to know what Arsenal fans genuinely think of this. Arsenal fans think they're getting Rodrigo. Arsenal fans think they're getting Rodrigo, and if they end up with Garnacho, I think that might be some of their 13th reason. I don't know if there's any Arsenal fan that actually wants Garnacho, because a lot of Chelsea fans that I speak to don't want him either. And I don't understand necessarily why people don't want him, because he's actually not a bad player. He might need, to get one goal, he might need 10 chances, but he's constantly in threatening positions, constantly, getting in behind. Maybe 1v1 standing up against his man, he hasn't really flourished over the recent times. But running in behind, if you want someone that's running in behind, getting into threatening positions, cutting in and getting a shot off, a dangerous shot, a threatening shot, taking all of those factors into consideration, he's actually a pretty decent player. And Chelsea have just had a bid rejected for Gittins. Arsenal think they're getting Rodrigo. I mean, I might have to eat my words if they do end up with him. But I just don't think he's as bad as obviously rival fans make out to be. I don't think he's bad. And I said this all the time. For Manchester United, I don't think he's been the worst player. He's been underwhelming, but he's had 21 GA this season in a poor season, and also he probably should have had more. He could have had like 30 something if he put away the 15 big chances that he missed alone in the Premier League. Like to miss 15 big chances in the Premier League as a wide player, and you spent half of the season playing as an inside 10 or whatever you want to call it. It's not poor turnover. And that's why I totally understand why Manchester United might want, what 60, 70 million for him. But it sounds like his priority is staying in the Premier League. Like he's and I don't know why. I'm very curious to know why he wants to stay in the Prem. Because if an offer comes up for him for like Atletico or something like that, hypothetically speaking, I don't think it'll happen. But if an offer comes up for him for Atletico, are you telling me he's gonna wait it out for a offer from Chelsea or Arsenal or Aston Villa? That's reportedly the three teams that he's linked to. He hasn't scored a goal at Old Trafford since November, Mina. But he's still scored a couple goals. I think what has been Garnacho's biggest downfall is his character. In my language, we say dabe'at, which is like your character, your personality, etc. That's what is a letdown for him. And bad character can make you fail in life, not just in your career. Having bad character can make you fail in life. It can make you fail in your family and your friends and etc. etc. It's very poor to also have bad character publicly. Like, there's some people in life that have bad character, but it's like behind closed doors. Like, I'm talking about, like, in the comfort of your home. Your siblings always see the dark side of you. Some people, we've seen your character play out in the public eye because you have willingly showed us multiple times your reality and your way of thinking. And for me, I will never forget that Europa League final comment, because the team is already defeated, yeah, after what has been an atrocious season that you played a part in, and you felt like the right thing to do was come out and not just criticize the manager, because at the end of the day, players can do that. But I feel like you kicked the team down, albeit they deserved it, because we literally gave Spurs a bloody trophy. But you felt like the best thing to do was to kick your team down to lift yourself up. And for me, that's not a team player. That's not a team player. And when Ruben Amorim, and we have spoken about it so many times about the culture change needed at Manchester United, and we've talked about the idea of a toxic dressing room. Jesse Lingard, Paul Pogba, they were accused of being toxic for far less. Just for dancing. Them dancing in dressing rooms, they were accused of being toxic. And that is why, for me, I'm like, Garnacho I'm disappointed, and it's a letdown the way that this whole situation has played out. Because the best thing for me, for what he should have done after the Europa League final, is keep quiet, do your little PR stunts. Do your little PR stunts, i.e. answer your questions in a PR way, and have your conversation with the manager behind closed doors. Now you told everyone how you truly feel. And maybe we don't agree with Mason Mount having started in the final. But now it's caused a disruption in the dressing room, because now certain players know what you think of them. And then you have the whole thing of going to Malaysia and, putting your middle finger up at fans and whatnot. For me, that's just not even, I can't even talk about character. That's just loser behavior. You're just a loser for doing that kind of stuff. Ability he has in abundance. He will be his own downfall if he doesn't fix up his character, mindset, and attitude. He's shown us his true colors way too many times with such a short career. Big up to Ahmed says, honestly, I felt, especially this season, every game he played, his performances seemed like audition for scouts. So selfish. Plus, he finds a way to make everything about him. I can't remember what game it was. It was back in January. That's all I know. Ooh. It's when that little situation played out between him and Faz before a Europa League game. And I remember thinking, I swear, for like 6-7 games onwards from that moment, the guy was just trying to score non-stop. Wallahi, the way he was trying to score non-stop, and it took him a long time to actually end up scoring, and then he chose not to celebrate. But I get what you feel in terms of it felt like an audition. For me, it did. And now things are starting to add up, now that, we know that his agent was presently speaking to Chelsea during the January transfer window. We know that he asked Manchester United not to accept that bid from Napoli when, Man United were looking to accept it. It all kind of makes sense. it all kind of makes sense because I felt like, and I can go back and show you guys so many videos after the games on my reviews, match reviews, where I'm talking about Garnacho being selfish and he's making selfish decisions in front of goal. There's so many different examples, and maybe he felt like it was a time for him to get out. Because also one thing I realized is that his pathway, I always feel like maybe it's just body language and whatnot. I always felt like he was envious of Ahmad. I know apparently they're very close friends, but I always felt like he wanted to be the star boy amongst all the young faces in the team, the Cobbies, the Ahmads, etc. He wanted to be the main guy and the most loved. He's the only one that got a song. I remember, and I will not forget, people were calling for him to have the number 7 shirt after one season at Manchester United. Albeit Mason Mount don't deserve it, and I think that we should just leave that number 7 shirt until someone worthy arrives at Manchester United. But and we are, fans are to blame when we talk about his character and why he probably thinks he's the best thing at Manchester United since sliced bread, because as fans, calling for him to have the number 7 shirt, despite the fact what we've watched for the last decade of people in terms of ruining the number 7 shirt, people are calling for him to have the number 7 shirt after one season, not even as a starter. He was coming off the bench. People are calling for him to have the number 7 shirt. For me, it's really unfortunate. And I also think Garnacho will be the first big name out of Manchester United. I think he will get a move out of Manchester United before Marcus Rashford does. And that's just my opinion. Some little update on Brian and Bumo. Still no here we go yet. We still have not got a here we go yet. But Manchester United are prioritizing Brian and Bumo before they focus on Victor Gyökeres. Ben Jacobs also confirms that the Brian and Bumo deal has not been delayed. It's just a state of conversations between the two clubs. And both parties are confident that the next bid will satisfy both teams involved. And he's also confirmed that Manchester United are about to submit the second bid. I just want this to be over, guys. Thomas Frank has been announced as the Spurs manager. I just want this to be over before there's any possible opportunity of a little hijack. Do you guys know what I mean? Before there's any possible opportunity of a little hijack, I want this to be over as soon as possible. Personally, I want it to be over as soon as possible. The biggest conversation actually from today, it's the 1% hope. Guys, it's the 1% hope that will kill me. Victor Osimhen dreams of signing for Manchester United. United are now working potentially on a strategy to sign him this summer. No official offer has been made yet. This is coming from Italy, right? And it's weird because the reporters in the UK are reporting on Gyökeres. And then reporters in Italy are reporting that Manchester United are potentially moving for Victor Osimhen. Now, for me, it's the 1% hope that kills. It's the hope that really kills, because I know United are going to end up with Gyökeres. I know that. But Victor Osimhen is the best striker that's available on the market right now. He is. However, with saying that, I'm looking at both kind of players and how they both potentially fit into a front line of Bumo and Cunha. And I just wonder, maybe like a little bit of me, I said, understands why maybe United are looking to go for Gyökeres because of Cunha and Bumo. If they didn't have Bumo and maybe they had like an Ahmad in the 10 or something, I would get why they would probably go for Victor Osimhen. Now, if Victor Osimhen spends another season playing at Galatasaray, that for me is very underwhelming for him. It's very, very underwhelming for him. Just because I feel like, you know what, guys? I said this in my video that I did yesterday. I feel like Victor Osimhen would have been a bad boy striker in the 2000s. Like, when I think of number 9s, it's what I think of Victor Osimhen. I think of Victor Osimhen. when I think of modern day strikers, I think of Gyökeres. I feel like modern day strikers now, you have to have maybe the less traditional 9 type of gameplay in your locker, and you have to have a bit more of an all-rounded type of gameplay. I just like simple strikers that make good movements in the box, that create opportunities for themselves, that like for me, I just I know United's gonna end up with Gyökeres. You guys are complaining about Garnacho's brothers. Wait until Osimhen joins and we see similar stuff from his friends. What is it like with his friends? I know he's in with a bunch of like people on Twitter, football Twitter, but what's that like? Because me, I'm doing Osimhen prop for free. Osimhen, if you want to pay me 10k to keep doing Osimhen prop on Twitter, I'll even move to Instagram as well. I'll do it. Just drop 10k into my bank account. Are we getting both or one? I think we're only getting one. Gyökeres is not a game state breaker like Osimhen, Mina. But that's the thing. I feel like United, what they would expect from their 9, this is where they're going to expect people like Cunha and Bumo to chip in with the numbers. That's what I think. I think, and that's why I said this yesterday. If United didn't get, I'm not chuffed about Gyökeres, but I'll back him if United gets Gyökeres. I will absolutely back him. And what makes me feel slightly more optimistic about getting Gyökeres is the fact that United have Cunha in the bag and potentially they'll, we're getting Mbeumo. So that makes me feel slightly more confident. If we didn't sign maybe Mbeumo, we still haven't, but if we weren't signing Mbeumo and you said to me we're only getting Osimhen and Cunha and we have to play Ahmad in the 10, I would also feel comfortable with that. But in terms of thinking long term, I'd rather we just get 3 new players in the front line rather than, relying on something else. Mina, you're taking money. I'll do Osimhen prop for Jollof. Just bag me goals when you arrive. Nah, I'm taking money. Jollof don't pay the bills. Not in this state, not in this economy. Osimhen would have been perfect for us in the early 2000s, not in this system. Gyökeres actually passes and makes unselfish runs. I think I spoke about this yesterday on stream. I did before the stream broke down. I was talking about the differences in Victor Osimhen and Victor Gyökeres. Let me just I'm going to bring up some examples now because I want to bring up examples particularly and it's always hard to show you guys from like freeze frames, but I'm going to try my best to break it down for you guys. This idea that Victor Osimhen doesn't maybe make good runs, we're gonna shut that down right now. Because he even does it at national level. All right, let me show you guys some examples. This is just some examples of Victor Osimhen, and then we're gonna compare it to Gyökeres, because you're gonna see a lot of what Victor Osimhen does as a striker is these kind of runs in behind or in the box. We're going to talk about the kind of movement he does in the box. He does not get involved in the actual build-up of the play. Gyökeres does. Gyökeres does get involved in the build-up of the play. And depending on how you like your striker, depending on how you like your striker and how you like your involvement from your striker, then I think that opinions just vary depending on what kind of striker you would want. But this is the kind of player that Victor Osimhen is that he gets into threatening positions. He creates space for himself. He makes a run. This particular freeze frame here is from a Champions League game, if I'm not wrong. This was Napoli, the season that I think that they won the league. He runs here and then makes a run in behind. So that is he makes moves in the box to get himself into threatening situations. For me, that's why I said, as a number 9 in the 2000s, Victor Osimhen would have absolutely killed it. He would have killed it because he is very 2000s-ish when it comes to strikers. Again, this is why I say he has to play with people that are going to create for him. Victor Osimhen has to play with people that are going to create for him and find him. Why? Because in that season when they won the league for Napoli, Kvaratskhelia was his guy. Like, he won, I think, as Serie A MVP, Kvaratskhelia, but the way him and Osimhen was linking up was ridiculous because he was finding him every time. Whether it's these little passes in behind because Victor Osimhen has the pace to get across, or if it's the balls into the box, and also in particular here, these balls over the top where he's just running the channel. So he can make runs in behind his centre-backs comfortably, or his defenders. He can do that. He's got the pace. He just needs the guy, the person to find him. Victor Gyokeres, I think, is slightly more different. And I spoke about this in detail in the video that I uploaded yesterday. Victor Gyokeres is slightly different because he likes to play back to... He can play. He doesn't like to play, but he can play back to goal. Back to goal, strength, shielding off the centre-back, holding the ball, setting it off. And when you have... And this is why I'm mentioning Bumo and Cunha, right? Because when you have those two as your runners, these are relentless runners playing behind you that can drive with the ball forward. Your job, Gyokeres' job, if United sign him, will be to find one of them. And this is at Sporting, but it's not too far off different, I think, from what Man United might look like next season. Find him and you make a run in behind. And Victor Gyokeres, by the way, this idea that he doesn't make runs in behind is completely, for me, it's nullified because he does. He absolutely makes runs in behind. Now, the only area of concern I have for Gyokeres personally is his movement in the box and his ability in the box as a number 9 when it comes to being an aerial threat. He's nothing, in my opinion, he's nothing like Victor Osimhen. But also I could say Victor Osimhen is nothing like Gyokeres. There's no harm. One thing I will say though, guys, is I've never seen two polar opposite strikers. I've never seen two polar opposite strikers and United being linked to them, which blows my mind slightly. The only thing that edges it for me when it comes to the two of them and why my preference is Victor Osimhen is because of his aerial threat. Man United have not had an aerial threat for so long. And if you're signing a guy in Bryan Mbeumo who has played the most number of crosses into the box in the Premier League this season, you need someone getting on the end of it. Now, I remember last season, the last 6 months of the Premier League season under Ruben Amorim, I was watching Rasmus Hojlund being static in the box with about 5-6 players around him. And he was never winning aerial duels. I've watched Joshua Zirkzee not win aerial duels, even forget even in the box, not even in the box, but just, you know, long balls from Onana. They're not winning aerial duels. Man United will have to win. They're gonna have to have a player, that can win aerial duels. Don't forget about AFCON. If we somehow sign Osimhen, we would have just too many African players tied to AFCON in December. You know, I hate this narrative, Ahmed. Not I don't hate you. I hate this narrative. Because of AFCON being held in mid-season, people think that we shouldn't sign African players because of AFCON. And that's my only downside, I would say, about AFCON being held during the football season. Obviously, there's other reasons why they don't hold it in the summer, which is rightfully so. But I don't think it should be a reason to deter you from signing a player. I personally, I don't think so. Now, Manchester United have how many African players? Ahmad, Mazraoui, Onana. That's it. Like that's it. So if you're saying to me that United will completely collapse because of AFCON, because there's 3 or 4 players leaving for duty, and Mbeumo, yeah, potentially Mbeumo, yeah. So it's United's responsibility to plan comfortably. Like, it's Man United's job to plan comfortably. Liverpool were able to do without Mane and what's his name, Salah, for AFCON duty. There was a time, by the way, Manchester United never had anyone going to AFCON duty. United never had anyone going to AFCON duty. So I don't think it should be a reason to deter us from signing a player. Like, for me, you lot know, obviously, it's no secret I am African. But I feel a lot of pride watching players from Africa play for Manchester United. Because it's not something that I saw much growing up. So for me, it's prideful. I love it. But I'm not going to say United should sign a whole starting 11 of African players. That's not going to work. But There's nothing wrong with signing the best striker, and this is just hypothetical, but there's nothing wrong with signing the best striker that Africa has produced in the last how many years. Let me see what you guys are saying. Big up to Ridwan says, as for me, I think either Osimhen or Gyökeres tick the box as a United number 9. Yeah, I think they're both kind of different. Both of them are different in their own ways as a striker. And you're getting, I think, a different type of output depending on who you end up signing. I wish Anana, well, come on, don't say that. Don't say that. All I know is both Victors are 10 times better than the other alternatives, so I cannot complain. Either one is fine by me. Yeah, I think both of them are the best on the market right now. Who else is on the market? That Benjamin Sesko, Darwin Núñez, Vlahovic, Jonathan David, Mateta, who looks like he's about to sign a new contract at Crystal Palace. The crop of quality number 9s available, it's not that great. So between the two of them, if United sign either or, they're getting one of the best 2 available right now. And the price is not that blasphemous. The price is not blasphemous. On the topic of number 9s, until today, I can't believe we gave the Rasmus Hojlund number 9. Forget the fact that we gave him number 11. We gave him number 11 and then we gave him number 9. I can't believe it. Anyways, it's been reported by The Athletic and also by United District as well that Inter Milan hold a concrete interest in Rasmus Hojlund, but the striker wants to stay and prove himself at Manchester United. What made me laugh the other day, I think he was on international duty, and he was talking about how he's contracted to 20. He said, I'm contracted till 2030, and I want to I want to stay at Manchester United. And I was laughing because he's not contracted till 2030. He himself didn't realize that he's not contracted to United until 20. Like, how can you say that in your media duties on international break? Saying I'm contracted till 2030. You're contracted till 2028. You are contracted till 2028, not 20. That's a 2-year difference. That's a 2-year difference. So if he doesn't know how long he's contracted to, I think that's enough reason to warrant a move for him. But with saying that, I feel like players sometimes maybe they don't want to accept that they failed. Does he have team options? He has everyone signs with United with a +1 option, but even the +1 option takes him to 2029. It doesn't take him to 2030. Now it's been reported, like I said, Inter are interested. They hold concrete interest in him. I've seen reports of a potential loan with an obligation to buy. I wouldn't be surprised I think Man United might have to push him out the door. Because no player is going to come out and say, yeah, I want to go out on loan. No one's going to do that, right? But if he's publicly saying I got a contract till 2030, which he doesn't, but he's saying I got a contract till 2030 and I want to and I want to basically stay and prove myself, Man United might have to push him out. Man United actually might have to push him out. Another player that we've been linked to, and again, for me, it just depends on the price. Simon Jones at the Mills on Sports saying that Man United have posted an interest in Bournemouth winger Antoine Semenyo, but face competition from Tottenham. I like Semenyo, but where is he gonna go in terms of in the system? Where in the starting 11? This is not gonna happen. And Bournemouth wants 70 million. They're selling Gyökeres. They're trying to get 40 million for Gyökeres. They've just sold Dean Howson for his release clause. Semenyo is probably the only other sellable asset that they have in the team right now. They want 70 million for him. If we got 70 million to spend, go and get me Victor Osimhen. That for me is like plausible. If you're telling me United got 70 million to spend, then please go and get me Victor Osimhen. I don't see it happening, and I'm shocked that Chelsea and Arsenal are not linked to him. But like I said, Arsenal think they're getting what's his name, Rodrigo. Now it seems like there's a bit of drama, guys. It seems like there's a little bit of theatrics. To be honest, guys, we're taking the piss out of Khalid, but Khalid's he's been right on 1-2 stuff that he said over the last couple of weeks. So we should maybe this is Ornstein in disguise. Maybe Khalid is Ornstein is in disguise. But I don't know if you've seen these theatrics playing out with Victor Gyokeres and Sporting. Now, it's been reported that he's pushing for a move to Manchester United. Now, he has a gentleman's agreement with Sporting, but it's also being reported that Sporting are not looking to oblige to that financially, and they're looking to sell him for his release clause. I think his release clause is slightly higher, quite a bit higher actually, than the gentleman's agreement that he has in place. But it's also been confirmed by Ben Jacobs that expect no rush for the Gyökeres saga, and it will probably go off into July. It will carry on into July, and as you guys know, transfer window closes at 7 o'clock today UK time. Then it reopens again next week Monday. The only thing you can still make transfers, but you just can't register them. But the thing is, United are not going to register any of their signings until the 1st of July, so that financially it impacts their next financial year and not this current financial year, because this current financial year has a lot of financial things that they have to account for. So I wouldn't be surprised if Brian and Bumo gets done in the next week or two, that he's announced, but it's going to be subject to visa and medical, etc., so that he can be registered on the 1st of July. Same with Victor Gyokeres and probably everybody else that follows. And the same thing is happening with Matheus Cunha as well. Despite the fact that United have announced him and he's a quotation mark United player, is subject to visa so that they can register him on the 1st of July, which a lot of teams are actually doing this. I think outside of anyone that's not in the Club World Cup. Gyökeres' numbers are so insane, they almost seem too good to be true. You know what? I was looking at it yesterday and I was just like, this is a joke. This is actually a joke. The fact that these are your numbers and no one's really batting an eyelid at you. Well, this is a joke. Look at this. This is club, by the way. This is just at club level. 54 goals, 13 assists in 52 appearances. And this is why I always say, you guys, we should watch games as much as we look at the numbers, because 39 goals in a league is ridiculous. I think out of these 54 goals, I think 19 of them are penalties. If we're talking about actual clinical goals, or, because I saw a comp of his 39 league goals that he scored, and a goal is a goal, but some of the goals I was like, the goalkeeper looks a bit questionable. If we look at let's look at something quickly, because I was having this conversation yesterday with my friend. We're talking about the Portuguese league strikers who have left. We're looking at players that have left the Portuguese league in terms of strikers. And we're looking at like the hit record. Look at this, guys. All right, these are wing. These are including wingers. Okay, cool. These are including wingers, yeah. But if we're looking at the strikers in particular, do Sweden play him and Isak together? Sweden are actually, I think they're playing today as well. Guys, why is England playing Senegal today, which is so random? Let me just see the World Cup qualifiers quickly, because I'm trying to keep up with the AFC bracket. Let me see how this table is looking. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's so random. England are playing Senegal today. I found that so confusing. They play a 2-striker lineup. Maybe I should watch Sweden more often. I like teams that play 2 strikers up top. But this is the front line: Gonzalo Ramos, Darwin Núñez, Marcos Leonardo, Fabio Silva, Hulk, Falcao. He was good. Falcao, when he went to Atletico, popped off. Jimenez, Andre Silva, Evan Nilsson, Jackson Martinez. Like, some of these strikers is unserious, guys. What has Quenda done to you? What has Quenda done to you? But look at the Portuguese league. If we're looking at even hit records just in terms of players, I feel like Vitinha, not even Vitinha. I feel like Di Maria. Is there anyone else? Am I missing anyone else here that has been a good player? That's had a good career? It's crazy though, because I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I just feel like with Gyökeres, it's like everybody wanted him 6 months ago. I remember, guys, when Ruben Amorim joined Manchester United, and everybody was talking about going for Gyökeres next. And now, nobody wants Gyökeres. Now, everybody's acting like, I don't think we're too good for Gyökeres, by the way. I've just said my preference is Osimhen, but I'm not going to complain if we sign Gyökeres. But everybody's acting like Gyökeres is the worst striker available on the market right now, which has amazed me. It's amazed me because 6-7 months ago, everyone was talking about, you know, the fact that United have to be all over him. And he was, you know, he scored a hat-trick against City, etc., etc. Just because he's not taboo, don't make man a deadly guy. Bro, I don't know what does that even mean? He's second best after Osimhen. Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with saying that he's second best after Victor Osimhen. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if they get either or, I've kind of already explained my logic in the way I think both of them will play. So it's just dependent on that. Nuruddin kills me about Gyökeres, man. Yeah, Nuruddin kills me when it comes. Yeah, Nuruddin is too funny, man. He's too funny. Listen, guys, did we hit 100 likes? We're two likes. We're 2 likes away from 100. So please, why am I saying please? Because there's like 50 of you in the chat that have not hit the like button. You guys have not hit the like button. And I really hope you guys hit the like button. Do you know why? Because in the transfer window, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, guys. In the transfer window, it is so hard to find stuff to talk about. It's so hard to find stuff to talk about. But we're here every single day. We're here every single day. I stream every single day. I make a video every other day. And we put content out. So you guys have to like the video. Like, you have to do it. But what do we have coming throughout the week? Well, the Club World Cup is starting soon. Let me actually look at the UK schedule. Club World Cup fixtures. These times are a joke, guys. Shout out to everyone in America, because y'all get to watch football at a decent time. Look at these times that the Club World Cup is going to be on. You know me, guys. I'm very big on sleep. I'm very big on sleep and health and all of that stuff. I will not be staying up to watch these games. Definitely not. Atletico versus PSG. We could do a watch along for that on Sunday. We could definitely do a watch along for that on Sunday. Who else? Al Ahly. That is the Egyptian team, Al Ahly, not the Saudi team. That is there. Bayern Munich versus Auckland City. Interesting. Yeah, these are some crazy times, guys. Any African teams playing? There is some African teams playing. I will be supporting them. What channel are they on? I think DAZN has the full rights to the Club World Cup. If you're in the UK, some of the games I think will be on like Channel 4. But all of the games, I think you can watch it on DAZN, on the website, on TV, etc. This game, I'll do a watch along. Al Hilal versus Real Madrid next week, Wednesday. Inshallah, I'll do a watch along for that. Al Ain versus Juventus. Fun fact, guys, my brother had trials for Al Ain like 20 years ago. Yeah, 2005. My brother had multiple trials for Al Ain, played with them very briefly. And then they kicked him to the curb. So yeah, I'll do it. You know what, guys? If you lot want, let me know in the chat if you want watch-alongs for the Club World Cup. I will be selective with the games. For example, Al Hilal versus Real Madrid. I'll do a watch-along for that. I'll do a watch-along PSG versus Atletico Madrid. I'll do a watch-along for that as well. So if you lot want that, I can do it. But if you don't want it, then I'm not going to do it. But if y'all want it, I will do it. So let me know. But these times are crazy, guys. 2 a.m. Anybody staying up at 2 a.m. to watch Inter Miami versus Palmeiras, or Porto versus Al Ahly, or Chelsea versus Tunis, I respect you guys. Whoever's doing that, I respect you guys so much. But yeah, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. Let's see, is there anybody live right now that we can redirect to? And by the way, guys, how did they do the qualifications for this? Was this like a certain number of teams who've won the most recent champs? Like, how did Atletico Madrid get into it? I don't get it. Like, there's so many teams. I'm like, how did they get into it? They gave Miami a spot because they assumed they'd win the MLS chip. The last few years, a coefficient. I'm looking at some of these teams. I'm thinking, how did you guys watch it? Mamelodi Sundowns, Al Ahly, Esperance, and Wydad AS from Africa. These are the teams I'm supporting, guys. These are the teams. If you don't want to know who I'm supporting for the Club World Cup, these are the teams I'm supporting. And you know what, guys? I'm gonna go out today and I'm gonna find myself a shirt for every single one of these teams. That's the teams that I'm supporting. And Al Ain, because they got a special spot in my heart. They're not gonna get cooked, Ridwan, you know, because Al Ahly are pretty decent. Al Ahly are pretty decent. They're a pretty decent team. I can't lie. I think Al Hilal are going to get humiliated in the Club World Cup. It'll be very interesting. It'll be very, very interesting. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. If there's any breaking news between now and tomorrow, obviously, you guys know I will be live with that. No video dropping today because we dropped a video yesterday. Victor Osimhen versus Gyökeres. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Make sure you hit the like button as well. Be sure to follow me on all socials. You guys know I'm live every single day here, so turn on your post notifications. So when I go live, you get notified. Have a great Tuesday afternoon, guys. Hopefully we get a here we go soon, man. I can't lie, because the transfer window is kind of boring right now. I'm out, guys. Peace.